Hi crypto fans, welcome to CCS Cryptocurrency State. My name is Santiago, I'm a web developer and investor, and in today's video we are going to review Bitcoin and crypto and what will happen to the crypto space with this Russia versus Ukraine war. I will be covering my research about this and what happens usually with the markets when we have wars. We are going to see some data about that. And I will tell you exactly where I think it will happen on the near future and during this year with this war happening right now. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get the notifications. And without anything else, let's go into it. Hey guys, first of all, you need to consider that in this video I will be analyzing S&P 500 because we don't have enough data with Bitcoin in order of history of what happened with the crypto space during war times. So we are going to analyze S&P 500, which also it's a good idea because what will happen on the market, on the stock market, it will also affect Bitcoin and the crypto space, because still we are really attached what happened to the market. The analysis of the stock market situation regarding the war is equally valid for the crypto space. First of all, the question is what makes the markets go down? For sure, for me, the most important answer for this is uncertainty. It's not the war itself. It's not that people will die. It's not the political interest or economic interest that could cause the war. But it's the uncertainty. You need to remember that what moves the market is the psychology of the people, the psychology that are part of the market. So the worst scenario, the worst thing that you could experience being an investor or in the market in your psychology is the uncertainty. And wars usually get a lot of uncertainty into the different aspects of the economic, political, and many other things that could impact on a psychological uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty in the markets, usually the herd will be starting to sell their positions and moving into more stable things like gold, silver, and another stuff. So in order to know what will happen with this war, we need to know the level of uncertainty that we have right now or how this starts to go away. According to the New York Times, global markets typically rebound from war and disaster, and they are likely to do so this time too. But Russia's nuclear arsenal raises the risk beyond calculation. So according to them, usually we will have a very big fall in the market when the war starts, but after that period we will start in a recovery that sometimes is quickly and sometimes could lead for a year. What will happen to the stock market right now? Well, the stocks of Russia companies are going down. That is already happening, and that is because of the sanctions that the rest of the countries are applying to Russia because this invasion. The stock of Russian companies related to war services or goods will rise. For example, private arms contractors, for example, those companies, the stocks probably will not go down at the same of the rest of the stocks of Russia. And the stocks of the US companies will go down or up in relationship to the US involvement on the war. So even if the market already went down, it is not specifically because of the involvement of the US in the war. So that could change regarding the involvement of the country into the stock market, into the war or not. Let's read a little bit about this. The largest historical drawdown due to war was in conjunction with Nazi Germany's entry into what was the Czechoslovakian nation in 1939 and the attack on France in 1940. The S&P 500 fell by 20.5% and 25.8% respectively during the following 22 trading days. 1 year after these instances, the market was up almost 19% and 9.2% respectively, eliminating much of the drop. So on this example, we also see that during the exact event, the markets collapse, but maybe in a short term, maybe in 1-2 months, the markets start a bullish trend again, even if the war still is happening. During Pearl Harbor, S&P 500 dropped around 11% in a single day after the attack. As we all knew, the USA declared war on Japan the day after, and on the 11th of December that year, Germany declared war on the US, with the US declaring war on Germany the same day. Despite all this turmoil, the S&P was up 15.3% higher 1 year later. So again, the same scenario happened there. During the oil crisis in 1973, S&P 500 fell by more than 70%. This was also followed by the lowest recovery since the Second World War. So we are starting to see some trends here. War and conflict bring sudden crashes, varying in their degrees and depths, but usually the recovery is relatively solid and forecastable. There are exceptions to most of these rules. And if we check this indices picture, sorry for the quality, I didn't find a better image, but these are geopolitical events and stock market reactions. Starting from 1941 until 2020, we can see that during the event date, the market mostly crashed or went down, and this is related also with the S&P 500 index. The total downtrend, for example, for Pearl Harbor on the one day was 3.8%, and the total downturn was 19.8%. But according to this, the calendar days to bottom was 143 and 300 days to recovery. So this was one of the worst on this recovery relationship after the event. But if we take the average of all these incidents, market events or wars, we can say that in one day usually was a 1.2% down. We have a total downtrend of a 5%. Remember, this is the average of all these incidents. We call it the bottom 22 days after the event as an average. So we can say that we get 1 month until the bottom and then 47 days to recovery. So if you see the average of all this, it's not so much. It's not that the war brings down the markets like forever and all the economic markets go down and the recovery is super slow. Usually as an average, you can see here that is not the case. Of course, if you take these events individually, there are worse events than others. But even for example, for the 9/11, the US terrorist attacks, we get a 5% down. We have a total downturn of 12% almost. The bottom was reached in 11 days and we were recovering in 31 days. So even for that, for our country was super quickly the recovery for that. Here we have another indices regarding the performance during time of war. This is from 1926 to 2013. We have World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, and we have the average here of all wars. So for all wars, we have for the large cap stocks, we have a risk of 12.8%, but the return was 11.4%. For the smaller caps, the return was a little more, but the risk was much bigger. So this is something to consider. For long-term bonds, the relationship was 3:1. And we have here also the 5-year notes, long-term credit, cash, and inflation. But what I really like to mention here is that usually the large cap stocks have less risk to invest at times of war than small cap stocks. And the earning and return that you will have is not proportional to that. You can see that we only have 2.4 points of return in smaller cap stocks, but the risk, it was like 7% more. So this is also that I am considering right now. This time for me, also because we are in a bear market, it's time to buy the biggest altcoins, or Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, Terra Luna, Polkadot. I am focused right now on the most big companies and investment companies on crypto. I am entering some positions on the Centralands and Sandbox, but usually I will be buying only the strongest crypto in this market. I am not risking into very lower cap altcoins right now because again we are in a uncertainty time and we are in a bear market, and usually those have a very big risk, because maybe if we have 1 year to recovery, those projects cannot sustain themselves. That is why at this point I am entering some spot positions just to hold for 1 year or more again in these big crypto assets. And with all that we say, you can see this daily candle. This is February 23. You can see that we did almost a 14% down. We recovered super quickly in the same day, but this is the candle of the day of the Russian invasion into Ukraine. So this also contemplates the same thing that we have been reading on this article before, the day of the invasion that was officially like declared. It was not declared, but where we can declare the start of this war for the invasion of Russia into Ukraine. We have this 14%. Right now we are recovering a little, but you can see very big, strong buying pressure here. And also in this next candle here, we have a wick to the downside with this selling pressure. So we are in a middle area right now. Bitcoin is at $39,000 at the time of recording. We need to see how the markets will wake up tomorrow. But again, in the history of wars, on average, the S&P 500 has been 6.5% in negative territory 3 months, following an armed conflict, either global or smaller, and around 13 positive 12 months after said conflict. So this is the summary of all this investigation that I did, and using this average for the crypto market, I think that maybe February, March and April could be down months, and this is only a speculation, of course. This is not financial advice, but we could have this next 2 months with uncertainty of what will happen with this Russia-Ukraine invasion war, how the rest of the countries and US will really act on this. And once the uncertainty, even if the war continue, start to diminish, then we could start some slowly uptrend in the markets. And that could bring us maybe an end of 2022 with a more bullish and recovery market, and maybe even above the last levels of 2021. So we could have historical all-time highs by the end of this year, even with this starting war. Well guys, that will be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed and give you some clarity on what will happen in the market in general and in the crypto space with this war and invasion that is happening already. And for what my strategy is, I am only buying right now biggest altcoins that I think that are powerful and can have long-term strength in the market. And that will be all for this video. Please put your comments below. What do you think about this war? What are your thoughts? I hope every one of you is safe right now if you are in Ukraine or Russia territory. Tell me also what are your planning in terms of strategy to keep your portfolio safe during these awful times. Thank you. Remember to like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get the notifications, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video. Bye.